he looks very directly at you, and he's like, I don't know anything about that, in a very like knowing tone.
You don't know anything about that, or you don't know anything about that?
So, where we last left you guys, you were still in the kind of main hall area of like the Capitol building, if you will, in Drale. You were still speaking with the old man. Vivian is still there, and Carden Sawyer is also there, kind of just going over the map, which I have now shared with you guys, so you kind of have a better idea of what the area looks like, and where things are kind of located in reference to where you are right now. But you guys had just finished up the discussion about the little bit that they kind of know, which didn't seem to be a whole lot about the situation of the world, I suppose. But is there anything that you guys want to do before you guys kind of head out of here? Or anything else you wanted to ask now that you've had some time to kind of sit and let that idea marinate with you for a little bit?
Things did marinate.
I'd say I'm good. I don't really have any questions.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
Yeah, I think I got everything out of the way.
So you guys,
Well, actually, I do have a question.
sure, go ahead.
So, old man, what? You never told us what's your name?
Nice, nicely done. Well played,
Bro. Bro. Alright.
And you see him kind of like leaning over the table, and he's rolling up the map parchment, and he turns towards you and he hands it to you, and kind of like with almost a little bow, and kind of just like a small smirk on his face, and he says, "My name is Ovrim, and I'm sure you'll be seeing much more of me."
Much more of you?
Yes.
Is that Ovrim with a Y or an I?
I've got two eyes, but it's with a Y, thank you. So, allow me to walk you out, and I suppose we will be parting ways here, but I'd like to know what you guys are thinking for where you'll be headed, so that I can do my best to keep up with you.
Oh, well, Avram, we are thinking of visiting the market.
Oh, very well. So you guys kind of walk out of the building, out the main doors, and you can kind of see most of the city from where you're sitting at, because the city's kind of tiered downwards. And there's some buildings that are kind of like sitting up, like, taller buildings and things like that, but it's still all tiered kind of down into this, like, to the base where you guys kind of came in. And he kind of points off to to his left. Well, the market is down that way. Mist Market, as they call it. It's pretty much where all of the trading in the city is done. There are places throughout, but most of the main stay of trade is done there. So that's the direction that you'd want to be headed.
Do you think we could find Johanna Wolf there?
I believe that is possible. If I remember correctly, she owns a shop down there.
So I have some questions for her.
Certainly.
Do they happen to have anything that, how should I put it, affects the mind in a way?
I don't necessarily believe so, but with some of the more recent expeditions into trying to grow and feed the populace here, we have found different interesting things, different interesting foods and plants. It's not out of the realm of possibility that something like that exists, I suppose. It's been a little bit of time since I've been back here, so I'm not 100% certain.
I've done a lot of foraging in my days, and those wall paintings we saw when we came in, yeah, they look like they came from someone who had a little bit of a twisted mind.
Certainly can believe that. We've never shunned that type of behavior, I suppose. Just tried to make sure that people are safe while doing it.
Naturally.
But I did just want to. He kind of like leans in a little bit closer to you guys now that you're kind of out of the distance of like the main like building where a lot of the people are. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear that certain company, and he kind of like motions himself back towards the Capitol building, prohibits me from saying too much about the things that I know because I am not sure who or I can trust yet. But what is going on in this world is extremely dangerous. There are events that are happening that I'm not sure that even you will be able to get to the bottom of and stop, but you are the best hope for that. If there's anything that I can do for you, I am always at your disposal. I will most likely be here, but I travel between here and where you had first met me within the walls of that small mining city. I try to keep them as safe as I possibly can and check on them frequently.
There was a mine there?
Of some sorts, yes.
What are they mining?
It's mostly the petrified trees they use. They turn them into certain building materials and use them for repairs and things of the like.
So if you're not there and we come here to find you, this is a massive city. Where do we look?
Look here, and he kind of points back towards the Capitol building. They'll know where I am if I am within the city walls.
They like to keep tabs on you then?
Always, yes.
Seems kind of odd.
They have found some of my knowledge indispensable, if you will.
Understandable.
I think that with your visits to some of these places that we've discussed, you will have a better understanding of the context of what I speak of. And once that has kind of been established for you, I would much like to talk to you about it after the fact. I think that hearing what you think will help me kind of build more conclusions, and I think that your specializations and skills will be much more akin to that than mine, so
I do have a question again.
Yes.
What keeps you going between the outpost and the city? It seems pretty fine here. It's defended. Why walk the dangerous road between the outpost and here, or the mining city and here?
Because I grew up in that town and I have a very special interest in making sure that it stays safe.
What kind of special interest?
Again, it was my home for a very long time, and I have a lot of memories that reside there and would much rather it remain intact in what little it can.
Well, what do you think, guys?
To the
I-
market, then.
Yes, I concur.
Flo is just holding his arms as they're crossed. He's I'm just gonna nod and start to head out of the door.
Again, if there's anything else you need, you know where I will be. Good luck, and please stay safe.
Thank you, sir. And I'll do like a nice curtsy.
And he bows.
I'm just going to start walking towards the marketplace.
All right, I'm gonna lean towards Orlo and say, "Don't you feel something's off about that dude? Like he's not telling us everything."
Yeah, but there's a lot of people here that seem a little off, so I think for here that's not too out of the ordinary.
We'll have to keep a watchful eye out. I'm worried about him.
We're definitely going to keep tabs on him like the rest of the people in the capital, apparently.
As I walk out, though, I open the door, I turn around, I give the old man in the guard a salute, and then march out.
Was I able to hear Orlo and Elladan's exchange?
Oh, I would assume so. You're standing pretty much right next to each other.
So she'll kind of like lean in as well. You know, I didn't say anything before, but I saw his eyes glow.
Glow?
His eyes glowed.
I know that sounds strange, but they glowed, and I don't know why.
When was this?
When we were back at the mining village.
Wonder if he was trying to tell you something.
So as you guys, like I said, are kind of starting to head out, he kind of pointed you in the direction of the market, but you see all of the tiering going down, and like I said, the buildings are mostly made out of like the rock that is part of the overhanging structure, and the cave, if you will, that this is all part of. And the stuff that is kind of a little bit more above that, like some of the bigger buildings, they look like they're made out of a wood, but it doesn't look like an oak or an elm or something like that you would probably be familiar with if you were, used to some of even the smaller towns that you guys would have been from. It looks a little bit more almost like sinewy. It looks like it's made out of something other than wood, but it looks to be sturdy and function in a very similar fashion. And you can also kind of just hear some of the noise of the city, especially being that you're up above it a little bit, kind of just some of the noise and not conversation specifically, but like the loudness of the people and the movement and all of the motion of the city.
I'm gonna walk over and touch that wood-like stuff. Is it within reach?
You could probably get up on something to touch it, or if you wanted to maybe use your trunk, because you'd probably definitely have some reach with that thing, I'm sure.
Yeah. I want to get
sure.
a feel for it.
Okay.
I want to see if I know anything about it or can tell anything.
Go ahead and roll a nature check for me.
Oh. It was almost a 19, but it's a 3.
Okay. So I mean, you are still familiar with, with nature. You spend a lot of time there. So you can definitely tell that it's not a normal type of wood. It seems like it has similar properties. It seems like it's definitely something that can be used for building. It's structurally sound, but it's a little bit more hollow, a little bit more maybe lightweight, um, but it's still very strong.
Like a bamboo.
Kind of, yeah, something like that. Definitely a good comparison.
Okay. I'm just gonna continue
we
walking
continue
after
through
I
the
kind of
market.
touch that.
Right.
Just
So as you guys
do
kind of
it in
wander
passing.
down, like I said, the city kind of gets a little bit louder as you start walking into it. It kind of starts encompassing you a little bit more. You can definitely gather some of the smells of the market, and of some of like the buildings as people are cooking maybe or baking, things of that nature. Just kind of some deep earthy smells. Because like I said previously, we talked about a lot of the food from this place being very mushroom based, because they have a farm underground that they use to kind of grow mushrooms and things like that in the cave. So definitely a lot of that in the air. Um, but you guys kind of make your way down into the market, the mist market, and it's set down in. It's almost like a big oval, and you can see that there's shop fronts kind of all along, and there's some stalls out into the center of it that are kind of also um, in a an oval pattern, and just a lot of people moving in and out. Looks um, like normal trade that you guys probably would see, just on a much larger scale. A good portion of the population is here at any given time, either getting stuff for their homes or uh, getting uh, their trade supplies taken care of, either selling or buying, whatever they need to do. So this is where pretty much all of that happens, and it definitely shows from the commotion, the general commotion.
Are there any like armor stands or like provisions there, like food, stuff like that,
Um,
drink?
you can see that one of the buildings has like it almost looks like like a tavern sign. It's called the Blind Boar,
Mm-hmm.
and it is uh, something that looks probably the most familiar to you in that respect. And that could be a potential. And then there's another one that kind of stands out. It's a lot bigger than the others. It's called Helander's Mart. It's got like a bigger sign. It's kind of etched into the, excuse me, etched into the stonework of the side of the wall. But it looks substantially larger than a lot of the other buildings.
Okay. Then I'll lean over to Orlo and say we should ask about Gilberg, because if we're headed um, over to Brancard Cord, we might run into pass there. Might be a good idea to get some intel or information about what might be there.
I think we should also probably stop at the tavern, see if they have any information there. There's usually something going down there, and I think we should look for maybe some mushroom experts and see if we can't find out what some of these mushrooms do. They seem pretty into it. We might be able to find something interesting.
I like how you think.
My lord.
Is there anything in particular that any of you guys, other than that, would be looking for building wise? And I mean, I know you're looking. The whole reason you guys came down here was to look for um, some of those people, but anything else that you would be interested in, so that I can kind of just go over it now.
Not really
Uh,
for me.
Yeah. Is that blind boar you said it was that like arms kind of? Does it have anything on display outside, or is that more like a that's more the
It looks
tavern?
like it's a tavern, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There is um, uh, one building that is kind of like an open front, and it looks like there could probably be a forge or something in it, and it's also named the Mallet, so it kind of might give you a little bit of a general indication of that being potentially what you're looking for there, Shin.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys kind of walk down into the busyness of the market. Where are you guys planning on heading first? Did you want to go to the inn or the mart or the blacksmith?
Orlo, what are you feeling as far as go first?
So, since Orlo knows a little bit about nature, obviously I want to see if I could notice any distinct smells, any sort of natural odors, any burning herbs or fungal growing from any particular direction.
Um, there's a lot of smells going on in this place. You smell all kinds of what seems to be foods coming from several of the different stalls. A lot of it does seem very earthen, very mushroom based, so that's definitely something that you know can pick up on. But there's plenty of herbs and spices and things like that. Other um, kind of just the smell of some of the burning, like it smells like burning wood maybe. Um, Lots of just smell of just people in general as well is something that you would be very accosted by because there are a lot of people here.
But nothing in particular.
I mean,
Like
Are
any
you-
particular direction that I'm
Oh,
picking up on something from that I
so-
can go towards.
there's a couple of stalls that you would probably be walking by that you would definitely smell some of that stuff from, and then particularly the blind boar, you can smell a lot of like food coming from, or it's seeming to be food.
Hmm.
Orlo, how about we visit the blind boar, maybe grab a drink, and talk to some of the locals, maybe get more of an idea of what we're looking for.
Sounds good to me.
I will be heading towards the forge. I want to get an idea what kind of weaponry we could possibly come up against, and also see if I can get something that might protect my hands in fighting. Also need to look for this Pace individual.
Okay.
The more ground we cover, the better. Don't want too many people talking and it getting back to this individual and he sneaks beyond our grasp.
Understandable.
Agreed.
Good thinking.
I'll go with Flo.
Okay.
Well-
So you guys are gonna go there. Zam and Ninjas, did you guys want to stick together, or did you also want to split up
Where are you guys going? Are
to
you
the
going?
blacksmith?
You're going
Yeah.
to the blacksmith. I won't. Yeah, I think we're going to the tavern.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, you two go to the blacksmith, and we're gonna go to the tavern. Let's meet back here in say an hour's time.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll start with Shin and Skelly. Let's go with you guys. You guys are heading to the blacksmith.
As we're walking away,
Mhm.
Flo, keep an eye out for any new walking sticks for me. See if anything catches your eye.
Anything in particular you're looking for?
Anything unique?
Unique. Broad, but I got it.
Appreciate it.
Come back with a giant's leg.
So Laya and Flo, you guys are making your way over to the Mallet, and like I said, it's very easy to see, and it's very open compared to a lot of the other buildings. You can see the big forge sitting in the back. Flo, you would definitely be familiar with that. But you can kind of see it sitting up against the wall, and all of the hot coals and everything laying, burning. So as you guys approach, you see that there's a few people kind of just doing business, but there's one individual, kind of a bigger, seeming to be, looks like maybe an orc from a distance, uh, kind of just manning the bellows on the forge and kind of going back and forth and just kind of hammering and doing a couple different tasks.
Before we step in, Flo is going to look over to Laya. Is there anything that you in particular are looking for?
Not necessarily. Just, I don't know, anything that might spruce it up a little bit.
Spruce what up?
My look.
Flo is just thinking to himself, details is not a strong suit. So I'm gonna walk in. Excuse me, blacksmith.
He's kind of just hammering away, and you hear the hammering kind of stop as he hears you speak, and he kind of looks back over his shoulder. What can I help you with?
We came to view the arms that you have available, as well as procure information if you are so keen to have it.
And Laya's just gonna be like standing next to him, just like with a really big smile on her face.
See him kind of like he doesn't turn or anything. He kind of just like motions his head over towards the wall, of like the back wall of the shop, and you can see some blades and swords and things of that nature hanging, but a lot of them look to be made out of um, like stone or metal, or not stone or bone and not metal.
Hmm.
He said information. I don't know how much information I have, but I'll give you what I can.
As I'm looking at the weaponry, Flo is just going to lean in, and I'm just going to lean in and inspect them closer. How do you temper your weapons? I'm to understand metal is rare here, but the durability of these items, is there any added process that you add to them to make them stronger?
We do what we can. Swords don't see a whole lot of use. Most of the stuff we make are for the farmers and for arrows for the guards, but I've gotten pretty good at making sure that they're not only sharp, but they're pretty sturdy. If you're not careful with them and don't take care of them, they definitely will break, but as far as being sturdy, they function.
I'm gonna look into Laya. Does bones sound spruce worthy?
Perhaps if they have a walking stick for Orlo, then.
And I just nod. I do believe a bone, something of a staff of nature, would be a suitable walking stick for our friend. Something natural.
There definitely are a couple of there's one that's a bone club and one that is a wood, very similar to what is on the buildings. Um, the type of wood, if you will, um, that they have used around the city. It looks very similar to that.
Mm. And is it like staff, walking stick kind of
Yeah,
quality?
they're very like they're longer, like almost like a quarter staff. In length and style.
Mm. And turning to Laya again, what do you think? I did see him inspecting that wood earlier, but not sure of his feelings on it.
I mean, I don't know. You said unique. I feel like that's unique.
I mean,
The bone, then. uh,
And I'll just turn back to the guy and be like, "How much for this one?"
which one? The bone one or the wooden one?
The bone.
Kind of checks his work on it and picks it up and turns it around. Not my best work, but it's pretty fine. It's in good shape. I would say 5.
Sorry, 5 what?
What do you mean?
Low. So this is what I was thinking about. And I was like, damn, I have another question now. And then we left. We left. Now we got to look crazy out here.
So you might say that my friends and I aren't from here. I'm not sure what kind of currency is used here.
And he kind of finally looks up at you because he hasn't really been paying attention much. He's kind of focused on what he's doing, and you know, he finally looks up at you and kind of looks at what you're wearing, and then he notices Flo, and he just stops, and his mouth is just like almost hanging open. Uh, 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 where did you get that thing from?
She's just gonna look up at, or I'll look up at Flo and be like,
And-
"Well, that's a little rude, isn't it?"
And Flo's just going to look at the weapons. I haven't taken anything. Everything here is from your store.
And you clearly realize that, like, obviously Flo might not, but obviously he's talking about you, and and he's like even more confused. He's like, "What? Oh, I mean you.
Oh,
Where
like
did you?"
my companion said, we're not exactly from around these parts.
That's very clear. Never mind. It's not important. What what do you trade in? You're from the city. I assume you look like city people. Silver is fine. I will do what I can with it. We'll work with it.
I'll pull out one gold piece and hand it to him.
His eyes just again kind of get even more wide, and he's just even more confused. He's like, "Sure, sure, yeah, we can, I can use that." And you see him kind of like very quickly like take it and just like shove it into like his vest, and he walks over, and he has like a small chest behind the counter, and he opens it up, and you see him kind of fidgeting around, and you hear it sounds very like kind of like bits and bobs, kind of like just in in a metal in a box, kind of just getting thrown around, and he kind of pulls out like this handful of it looks like ceramic almost, and they look like they're printed and minted to an extent as much as they can be, but they're not made out of metal.
Hmm.
And he takes the stack of them and hands it to you, and equivalently is their currency basis of what he owes you.
And is it like a lot? Because I would imagine like
It's a considerable bit, yes.
Flo's just going to look down at it and look at him. Is this going to set you back?
We'll be quite all right.
He's just looking at it. Do you have anything that is reminiscent of gloves that could be used for striking?
Well, I make digging claws, but those aren't really, I don't think, what you're looking for necessarily.
Could you perhaps fashion them to be of a more suitable design?
Like knuckles, eh?
That's more like it.
I could probably come up with something by the end of the day if you want to stop back later.
And I'll just hand him back half of what he gave me as like an advance,
Okay.
and then put the other half away.
Okay. And he just kind of like shakes his head and just puts it back in the box, and he's like, I'll make sure you're taken care of.
One last thing. Have you heard of a trader or a merchant by the name of Pace? Goes by Pace.
Let me think. I do believe that I've heard the name once or twice. I don't remember if I've ever seen him at a shop, but I know I've seen him round the inn a few times.
And look into Leia, I suppose we should join our new companions then.
Can I give Orlo the stuff?
He he'll just nod and hand it over to her.
And I'll smile, like be really excited and like not jump, but like kind of bounce a little.
I said one last thing, but I misspoke, and he's going to reach out his hand and he's just going to say, I'm Flo.
He's still kind of awestruck by you, but he kind of reaches out his hand and like, grabs it and gives it a very hearty shake. Grud.
And I'm Laya. And I'll like hold out my hand very excitedly.
And you see he very obviously takes yours a bit more gentle, and he shakes it lightly. He's like, still Grud.
And I'll just like get a much firmer grip and like shake like shake his hand.
And
Well,
he just kind of, you see him like trying not to crack a smile, and he just shakes his head.
we shall return later then.
I'll be here.
A pleasure.
Same.
We're off to the tavern then.
Sounds good to me. I'm starving.
Okay. So then we will hop over and do Elladan and Orlo. We'll start with you guys, and then we'll have them pop in here in a little bit. So you guys were making your way over to the blind boar.
Yes.
Yes, we were. I will lean over to Orlo and say, "Hey, how does a boar go blind?"
I imagine somebody stabbed him. Possibly in the eyes.
Strange name for a tavern.
Or maybe what they serve makes you go blind.
Maybe we should take a look at the food and drink then before we partake.
I know I'm definitely not used to anything from around here. At least so far. I don't know how
Strange
my...
amount of mushrooms.
An unpleasant amount of mushrooms.
I say
right.
we go get a drink and ask some people around about some of the locals. Maybe those people we saw at the front gate trying to get in, find info about them.
You can go ahead and have a drink. I think I'm gonna stay sober. I think at least one of us should be.
That may be a good idea.
So you guys they make your way over, and as you kind of enter, you see that uh, a lot of the interior of this building, as you would probably expect, is made out of stone. The very few things that aren't are made out of that same wood that Orlo had kind of inspected earlier. And it's not extremely busy. There's definitely some patrons in there, but it's probably maybe a quarter full if you were to kind of just take a quick guess. People just kind of sitting and eating, and just normal conversations. It's a lot quieter in here, surprisingly, than the market itself. It's kind of a nice reprieve, I'm sure, for your ears as well, Orlo. But there is definitely a very overwhelming smell of food and spices, and that definitely immediately hits you when you walk in, because it's all kind of trapped in this room. And it smells pretty good. I know you're not a particularly huge fan of the mushrooms, Orlo, but it doesn't smell terrible. But you see a furbog standing behind the bar, kind of just tending to the people as much as they need, and kind of trying to work between the tables and make sure everybody has everything. But as far as you can tell, it's just him in there. And he beats you guys your gaze as you kind of walk in, and he goes, "Have a seat, take off, relax. I'll be over in a minute."
All right, I go ahead and sit down.
Yeah, I look for an open table and have a seat. Does the chair hold me? I look for a sturdy chair.
Well, most of them are made out of stone, so you're pretty safe.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we have to do a chair roll?
Every time. Every single time. I'm going to look around and see if there's anybody that is, I know you said it's quiet, but I want to see if there's anybody that's noticeably more intoxicated than the other patrons.
There's definitely a few people who were a little bit lit up. Kind of just sitting there. They're a little bit louder, a little bit more rowdy.
Is it like one group of people, or is it multiple groups of loud people?
It's like one bigger group of people, probably about 6 people.
Gotcha. Elladan, I think if we're looking for a good time, those guys might have some insight on where we might be able to find that. They seem like they're having a good time.
That's a good idea. I'd like to have what they're having.
Seems maybe a little bit more than just some drink.
And I think after this day, we could do with a bit more than drink.
I agree.
So a minute or two passes, and the furbog comes over and kind of like props himself up on the table, and he's like, "Hey, what can I get for you guys?"
Well, I point over at the rowdy group and say, "Do you have anything that they've had?"
I sure do.
We'll have some of that.
Great, I can do that. Anything else?
What is it that they are having?
Just some of our local mead that we make.
Do you have anything stronger?
We definitely have stronger liquors, yes.
I'll have one of those too.
Okay. And he looks over at Elladan and you as well.
Yeah, the same.
Okay. I'll be back in a minute.
All this is for you. I said I'm not drinking.
So you see him kind of go behind the bar. He's pouring your drinks and stuff, and makes his way back over and sets down 2 big glasses of mead and 2 little bit smaller glasses of the liquor. And he sets them respectively in front of both of you.
What's your name, by the way?
Sorry. It makes me laugh now that every person you guys speak.
You better be ready. You better be ready.
Oh, don't
Every
worry,
time.
I'm ready. Get out of there. Name's Glenvin.
Glenvin. Who's the rowdy group over there?
He looks over. He just some regulars. They
Nope.
they come in pretty much every day for a few rounds.
Just a few rounds?
Just a few. And he kind of puts there's like a small smirk on his face.
Me and my buddy here are looking for something that's, a little bit more than just a few. So if you could point us in the right direction of anything like that, we would be much obliged.
He kind of looks around a little bit, just to kind of see who's all there, just to make sure. And you see him kind of. He looks very directly at you, and he's like, "I don't know anything about that," in a very knowing tone.
You don't know anything about that, or you don't know anything about that?
I second one.
I see. If there was somewhere that we could maybe have a chat about the thing that you don't know anything about, is there somewhere we could go?
At the moment, he looks around the bar a little busy, but if you give me a few minutes, I might be able to figure something out.
Take your time. We have our drinks.
Great. If you need anything else, just give me a holler.
Elladan, I think we might be onto something.
We definitely are.
You guys kind of sit there and you're having your drinks, and a couple more minutes pass. At this point, Flo and Laya are probably walking through the front doors, and you would probably see them before they would see you.
I forgot about those lot.
These must be strong drinks. And then I just kind of wave them over.
And I'll look up at Flo and be like, so I'll give it to him. He already doesn't like me. So if he doesn't like the staff, then you can just blame me.
That won't be necessary. He said unique. It'll be fine.
It certainly is that. And I'll start heading over.
Welcome to the Blind Boar, everybody.
And as you guys kind of sit down, you see, again, both of you see this Furbog, and he kind of meets you and kind of like gives you a small wave, and he's like, "Sit anywhere you want. I'll be over in a minute."
We've already made real good friends with him.
Orlo, look what we got you, and she'll just like present it to him very excitedly.
That is definitely unique. I like that a lot.
And I'll just look over at Flo and be like, "We did it!"
I just take it and start looking at it. What is this made out of?
Bone.
Bone? I've never had this. Everything I've had has always been wood.
Although you've never had a bone staff before.
I've never had a bone staff before.
Sitting down at the table, Flo is just going to look over at Elladan's drinks and give a small sigh before saying, I'm just gonna say, Lio's the one that picked it out.
Olo, have you ever named your weapons before?
Never thought to.
Well, I thought of a good name for this one that you got here.
Lord.
Oh dear.
The Boner Staff.
Why would you call it such a thing?
I take another big swig of my whatever I have and just start laughing.
What about Bone Breaker?
I like that one better.
Well, it certainly could be used as a bone breaker.
Oh dear. I knew I shouldn't have fed him all those drinks.
So, just out of curiosity, Elladan, how many of those drinks have you tried to drink before they got
shit. Here it comes.
there?
I would say probably at least like 2 or 3.
Okay. So, do me a favor and roll a Constitution saving throw and see how you're doing.
I got a 9.
Okay. So you're probably feeling pretty fucking good right now.
Look, guys, I'm just saying, after we had a long day, I thought we could use some stress relief. I thought I would stay sober since it's really a new place. And this is what we ended up with.
Oh, Olo, sober's no fun, have another. And I like spill over some of mine.
Is that what we were drinking last night?
I'm not
No, this stuff's
sure.
just a bit stronger. I'd recommend it.
I don't think I've ever tried anything stronger before.
Girls, hang on 1 second. Sorry.
Our cats are killing each other. Okay, so I'll assuming Elladan allows me to, I'll like grab a cup and like give it a testing sniff and like make a face. Are you sure this is good?
Oh, yes.
All right, well, cheers then.
Cheers.
Certainly helps us to blend in. And looking at Orlo as best we can.
So, it's definitely a little bit stronger. It's got a very very strong smell to it. It's very hoppy and the liquor also is exceptionally strong. But it's not terrible.
Wait, what I tried wasn't the liquor. Was that just the mead that I tried?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, that's a little bitter. What's that other one?
Oh, this one?
Yes.
It's
He's a
quite
little
bit
drunk. You have to be
it's-
a little bit more direct.
It's it's quite a bit stronger.
What does it taste like?
Honestly, after a couple of them, you stop tasting them.
But what's the point in that?
Look
Well,
at him. He's
you
having a
see.
great time.
What Orlo said.
All right, let's go. And she'll like, I'll motion, assuming I can get Glenvin's attention. I'll like motion for another round.
And he kind of makes his way over, and he's like, "What do you need?"
Whatever that spirit there is, I'll take 2 more.
Right? And he looks at Orlo, and he's like, "Do you want one too?"
I'm good.
And he
Oh.
looks.
And so, sorry, do you? I'm not from here. Do you accept gold here?
And he's like, "Gold? Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, yeah, we can work with that."
Lovely, thank you.
And he looks at Elladan, and he's like, "You're good." And then he turns to Flo. He's like, "Can I get you something?"
I'm fine.
Great. He's like, "Be right back." And you see him kind of walk over to the bar, and he's getting everything together.
And I'll like look at Orlo and Elladan, and we found out that they use a very strange form of currency here, but they seem to be very excited about gold.
We should probably ease up on the G word just based on their reactions.
Well, the old man did mention that metal was hard to come by, so I imagine to them this is worth quite a bit of money.
Right.
Just sounds like a really good time to me.
At the blacksmith, all the weapons were bone or of the wood that these structures are made of. And he's going to pull out the currency that they use and put it on the table for them all to see.
What is that?
It's similar to ceramic, it looks like, but apparently it's their currency.
How much are these things worth?
We don't know yet.
You did wait. You gave someone gold, they gave you this back, and you didn't ask how much it was worth?
He was a very nice fellow, okay?
I'm not one to flash finances, but it did receive a considerable amount in return.
This doesn't look like a considerable amount.
Reluctantly just holds up the bag. That's like bulging. This is half of it.
Half. Okay.
I put in a request for a design suiting my needs.
And which needs are these that you need suiting?
Well, as of late, I'm thinking that I might require an entire ensemble just to put people more at ease. But it's Knuckles, as we came to agree upon. Knuckles.
Very nice.
Less wear on the hands, more damage.
Very nice. I can support this.
The Glenvin makes his way back over to the table and sets down the drinks, and he sets down a piece of paper in front of you, Orlo, and just kind of like slides it into you.
I'll just take it and kind of palm it. Do it on the sly. just kind of tucking away.
The drinks are down in front of you, and Glenvin looks and he's like, "Can I get you guys anything else? You good for now? We good? You need anything to eat? Food?"
Food would be lovely. What's the best thing you have?
Oh goodness. We make a really, really good stew that I'm very fond of. You're the worst, Cat.
Did you say stew?
Yes.
What kind of stew?
It depends. Right now, I'm pretty sure they're making. Oh goodness. I think that it was one of our spice stews. I can't remember though. The cook, he's a little erratic sometimes. He'll come in very, very, very early or very late at night and just cook for a few hours. And we're not really ever sure what's going to turn up, so.
Is it gonna hurt us?
I mean, I suppose if you eat too much of it.
And I'll just like look at Orlo like shocked that he would ask that.
I'll look over. Sensitive stomach.
He's like, I don't think it would be a problem.
I might try some of that.
I'll take some as well, please.
Sure. He looks at Flo. Do you?
It's just good.
Okay.
Just shake.
He's like, I'll get some for him too. Looking over at Elladan.
And then, on second thought, you can give him mine.
Sure, we'll go with that. Works for me. And he goes, I'll be back in a few minutes.
So who's doing this shot with me? And I got two. So somebody, don't make me drink alone.
I'm not drinking right now.
Looking at Elladan again, I suppose I have to.
I mean, I'll drink both if you insist, but I've never really drank before last night.
I think it's best then you have both of them.
Flo is just gonna reach over and take one. Hearing that last night was her first, Flo is just gonna take. Maybe this won't be wasted on me after all.
Well, cheers.
And while
Cheers.
they're distracted doing their shot, I want to kind of read that note on the sly while they're
Sure.
doing that.
So two things. One, there's a little package that falls out of it, and two, it's like it's an address, and it just says reservoir, and then it has an address.